Hello, hello, hello. Another Tuesday evening. Got my blue visor on. We are going to be answering some questions tonight on, I think today is May 26th, 2026. And we are going to be answering a lot of questions that have been coming in from parents and student athletes because it's that time of the year. Not only is it the regionals beginning in Division One, the College World Series at the NAIA level, Division Three, Division Two levels of the NCAA, NAIA World Series, JUCO World Series. It's also transfer portal time and the JUCO graduates, and we're going to sprinkle in some new NCAA changes coming with 5 years of eligibility in 5 years. All of that great stuff, as well as a great topic which everybody is asking me about with regard to the reclassification craze. I know we keep seeming to be talking about it because people keep asking me about it. But this evening, I want to let everybody know the Pocket Path is a training device for all throwing athletes. It's worked with big leaguers. It's worked with colleges. It's worked with high schools. It's worked all over the country. And we had a winner from Grafton, Massachusetts last week. And this week, if you comment on tonight's discussion, no matter when you may comment on it, engage in tonight's conversation, you are going to be entered into a drawing to receive a Pocket Path training tool. It works for catchers, for pitchers, for infielders, for outfielders. What it helps is arm efficiency. It helps your arm throw in a healthy, natural capacity. And it is a wonderful training tool, whether you're a football player, a baseball player, a softball player, anyone that throws an object. A training tool such as Pocket Path can help you. So where to begin? First and foremost, I want to say thank you to every single person that takes the time, parent, athlete, coach, that takes the time to contact, to reach out. I really, truly appreciate it. And I'm going to answer as many questions this evening as I possibly can. And if you find yourself, then you have a question that you would like me to answer, please make sure that you send it here live. If you're watching on Facebook, you're watching on YouTube, or you're watching on what used to be known as Twitter, now known as X. Send along a question and I will get to answer that. We are watching a world that, as recently as today, Fox News had this revelation that we have $40 million being spent on youth sports. And the rage, all the rage right now is the reclassification at the 8th grade level. Imagine that. We have families that are, trying to kind of get on to the platform. And they're trying to make sure that their athletes are going to get all access to the all-powerful, all-knowing name, image, and likeness and scholarships at the college level. And the all-powerful world of youth sports is now dipping its toes into the world within academics, schools, trying to get in on the money, from cities and towns, and more importantly, from parents, trying to ride that wave of, what's next, how to get an edge, how to get a leg ahead, how to get one step closer to that dream. And what I try to tell parents is we need to understand that it is a big deal to get informed, educated, aware. And so that's really where I want to start tonight. I want to start and I want to get this onto the stage, and I want to get an awareness for parents And I want you to know that it becomes really an imperative part of your process to understand what are the realities, what is the biggest part to this process. And I want you to understand that reclassing isn't for everyone, and it does not guarantee you automatic advancement within college athletics. And what the realities tell us is that we have 8 million athletes, and I'm going all sports now, all sports. And just if we just take the NCAA, I understand there's the NAIA and the JUCO worlds, but let's just take 8 million youth high school athletes, girls sports, boys sports, all sports, 8 million participants. 7%, roughly 500,000 athletes will go on to play NCAA athletics, football, softball, lacrosse, track, golf, field, all of that kind of stuff. And so if we begin to look at that 7%, that 7%, they're not all getting name, image, and likeness money. They're not all getting full scholarships. They're not all getting full playing time. So we need to begin to start this conversation off with, what are we really trying to achieve as families for our student athletes? What are the goals, the real goals? We have several coachings that are responding to us through DMs. Example, I like your videos. Thanks for the message. Stay in touch. We have some messages that go unread or no response. Do we continue to send and keep up communication, or do we move on? Like, these are the kind of questions that we're going to answer tonight. This is what we are going to really get to with regard to tonight's discussion. And as you can tell, I'm getting a little antsy here, but what I want to be able to do is get you to a place that we can begin with. So I want to start tonight by saying 4 years ago, I started this whole YouTube live craze. Many, 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 many people have followed. Many people. And I think, the best form of flattery is imitation. And I want to begin to say that many years ago, I would always say to parents, there is a world coming where there will be 5 years of eligibility. There is a world coming where the rosters will be influenced by professional athletics. There is a time coming when college athletes are going to be paid. There's going to be a day when colleges are going to work hand in hand with professional sports with regard to development. Well, that time is now. And that is where we are going to begin. And what I want to say to you as parents is, beginning as early as freshman, you're an eighth grader, you're a rising high school freshman, and you are about to hit the world of high school athletics. And you are wondering about the magical mystery years ahead and where they will lead. The first thing you need to begin to understand is this is a very finite period of time in your life as a parent, and more importantly, with regard to your child, your son or daughter. This is a finite period that you get to live in for 4 years. And you need to be present in each one of those 4 years. And you need to be aware of what each one of those 4 years need to be about. And it is important for you as parents to really understand what that process is about and what the priority is in that particular year and what is important for your student athlete. And so what I want you to begin to understand is Um, you need to be updated as to all of these changes. Um, and I want to begin here. Your athlete is a senior in high school and they are 2026. The new realities, the smart strategies, we need to begin to understand on development. We need to begin to understand the academic foundations. But most of all, we need to begin tonight, and we need to begin your process in understanding the new reality of college athletics. What does 5 years in 5 years really mean to you as a parent, to you as a student athlete? Let's just start with the sport of baseball at the Division I level. A roster cap of 34 in Division I, a roster cap of 36 in Division II. That means we now have 5 years for 4 classes of high school athletes. Now, I want you to think about that. High school, freshman, sophomore, junior, obviously senior. College, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, 5th year. So they're recruiting 5 age groups for 34. Divide 5 into 34. Let's call it 7 and an 1/8, 7th and a 5th. The numbers tell us that these 5 years in a roster cap are going to create chaos. College coaches are telling us, and I can tell you, not from a braggart perspective, just talking to you in a rational adult capacity. When I'm talking to college coaches, the frustration is not with all the moving parts that the NCAA is implementing. It's the harsh reality of taking something that they thoroughly love, being a coach, relationships, the bond that is created within the college landscape as a team environment. And trust me, college coaches lose sleep over this. I promise you. In the reality of now having to conduct and make decisions year in and year out about roster construction, particularly at the Division I and II levels. Now, one of the important distinctions between Division II and Division I is Division II and Division III get to have a developmental / JV environment roster. Division I does not. And so that means 5 years and 5 years of eligibility, less margin of error. Coaches now have to construct rosters each and every year, because what happens is a younger underclassman may get frustrated. They're not getting an opportunity. They want to hit the portal. Older athletes that feel like they have proven themselves want to move on to the perceived greener pastures. They're doing it at a level, maybe Division III, Division II, or a mid-major. I don't like the term mid-major, but they're doing it at a mid-major school, and now they want to test the waters within the P4, P5 environment. And so what you as parents have to begin to understand, this new age of athletics, it's nothing personal. You think that the name, image, and likeness, you think that the portal is equal opportunity for all, but it's not. The vast majority of athletes are not going to get large sums of name, image, and likeness money. The large number of student athletes, at least as it pertains to baseball, are not going to get full scholarships. The vast majority of student athletes are not going to get playing time because they're on a roster. Playing time is a competitive space. It's a competitive environment. It's a competitive landscape. The 18 and 19-year-old versions of the underclass young college athletes, or let's go 18 to 20, are competing with 23 to 25-year-old adult men and women. That is the new reality. And the roster construction is going to be unique at each individual school. And parents need to understand you're comparing your 18 to 20-year-old against other 18 to 20-year-olds. Have you looked on social media and seen the insane amount of student athletes that are announcing their intention to enter the portal? Now, we are in a quiet / dead period that will expire and open up on June 1st. The portal is filled with athletes who will never play college athletics, at least at the level they think. Some athletes will never get another opportunity to play at any level at the NCAA. They may find NAIA at Division II. And for the right student athlete, young student athletes that have eligibility as freshmen, potentially sophomores, they may go to JUCO. But my point is, you really need to understand at 18 to 20 where you are at. You need to understand the new 5 and 5 timelines. So many people do not prioritize academics, and they tell me, "Oh, Walter, you're so high and mighty thinking that academics really matter." Okay, if they don't matter for you and you have a family environment where they don't need a degree and they're going to be just fine, that's great. There are other parts of the college environment that matter. Academics show more than just a grade. They show determination. They show accountability. They show pride. They show work ethic. They show accountability. Now, you can say that's all dog and pony, and a lot of parents do. But I can tell you that college coaches pay attention to that. And if we're all being honest, 99% of all college athletes are never going to earn a living in the sport of choice, or at least not earn a discernible amount of income that is going to alter their path in life. So if academics really don't matter, what are we really doing in college? That's the question that I always put forth to parents. And so that's something that really matters, and I think should be a big part of this discussion. I think the next part of this process should be, do you understand what is really happening beneath the surface? Are we really looking at athletics with a keen eye on television, professional athletics? Are we really understanding what's happening? The draft. So on the surface, let's talk about 5 and 5 for 1 second. 5 years of athletic eligibility over the course of 5 years, beginning from high school graduation. Now, everybody wants to tell you that it's age 19 and that post-grad opportunities are going to be meaningless because you got 19 and post-grads are going to be so old. So you're doing a post-grad year essentially for nothing. First of all, 5 and 5 is a Division I topic. It is not for NCAA Division II. It is not for NCAA Division III. So therefore, post-grad is anything but going to be eliminated. If anything, it's going to prosper and thrive. But let's get real here. 5 and 5. It's really going to end up being about high school graduation. The NCAA cannot penalize a young man. And if there is an age associated with this, ultimately it's going to become, whether it's through litigation or basic common sense, the age of 20 will be associated with the high school graduation. Some boys and girls mature later, academically, physically, and we can't penalize them. So therefore, the age of 20, it's going to be high school graduation. So therefore, college will be 20 to 25 at the Division I level. So let's start there. What you need to understand is, to be on level footing, college caliber athletes, need to be on the same level as the older athletes that are currently participating in college athletics. There's no other way to say that. And so you have to make sure that you, as parents, are giving your student athletes every opportunity to be ready physically and mentally to compete with older athletes. That's male sports and female sports. Do you recommend? Okay, this is the point of my discussion tonight. Do you recommend holding a young athlete back a year in middle school in hopes of better aligning them physically for high school and potential college experience? And I want to let's see, JRC. I want to let you know, and then I have Gray Viper. These questions. What I want you to understand is holding back for the hopes of potentially becoming, let's say, in middle school, is not a one-stop shop. Where is your student athlete emotionally, academically, socially, physically, then athletically? I want to let you know that this is a unique decision for each and every parent. Now, what's happening below the surface is you have all of these entrepreneurial people that have created athletic academies, these IMG academies. They're spreading up everywhere. They're all over. There's a proliferation of these schools that are created and that are being created, what seems like on a daily basis. They are not a one size fits all. And while everybody wants to tell us, oh, we'll take online classes and we'll just we'll get our academics in a brief 2 or 3 hour window online, and then we'll be all sports training and nutrition and training and skill set development and practicing, and we'll scrimmage and we'll do all this fun stuff at school, and that's going to help us prepare to be a college athlete. 8 million student athletes, 500,000 NCAA athletes. If I look at baseball, we have 2 million high school athletes, and we have approximately 40,000 NCAA athletes and approximately 55,000 total college baseball athletes, similar in softball. 2% of high school athletes become Division I athletes. 2% of high school athletes become Division II athletes. 3.5% become NCAA Division III athletes as baseball players. Are you in that 2% Division I? Are you in that next 2% at Division II, or in that next 3% of Division III? And have you noticed the amount of athletes that are going Division III and then moving on to Division I? Do you understand that Major League Baseball is about to cut rounds of the draft, and they are about to eliminate the high school athlete from the draft beginning in 2028, which is going to force approximately 150 more high school athletes into the higher levels of college, and that'll have an effect all the way down. In other words, there are layers and levels to this stuff that you're not being told or exposed to. And while you think you are on the express train to Division I and Division II, you might be on the express train to heartache. And so it's important for you to understand what truly lies ahead. And when I put the spectacles on, that's because I'm going to take questions. Middle schoolers, I can't believe this statistic, but I'm going to answer your question. Middle schoolers, mostly boys, are now instinctively repeating 8th grade on purpose to delay high school entry. They want to gain a full year of development. They want to try and dominate the high school level to be better prepared for college. An example, there are hockey players, there are basketball players and football players that are 20 years old as freshmen in college, and then they go on to become high-level draft picks, within the professional sports of their choice. Don't let that bug fit you, because it's not a one-size-fits-all proposition. The 5 years of eligibility over the course of 5 years upon high school graduation, that clock ticks. Understand, there are no more red shirts. There are no more hardship waivers. Your student athlete gets hurt, the clock is ticking. And whether you're playing or participating, it doesn't matter. You have 5 years of eligibility over 5 years. And you need to understand that there are more athletes coming in to college athletics. I don't think we understand that point. We don't understand that the 5 years, more athletes coming into college sports, all with the hopes and dreams of name, image, and likeness, financial opportunities, all with the grandeur of playing success and being on television and scholarships. Do we know how many athletes go into the portal in all these sports? Basketball, football, hockey, basketball, baseball. Do we know that the numbers, typically 65% never find a new home, and 35% that do find a home, some don't find the home that they were hoping to go to, and they end up just kind of basically plateauing and transferring, and kind of, it's like a lateral transfer. And the grass was not greener. It's so frustrating for the people that truly pounce on families that call, when I say call, contact, I can help your student athlete get to a better school. If they go into the portal, I have talked to the coach at this school, and there is a really big name, image, and likeness package that's available for your student athlete. Those people that get offered that opportunity, it's a slim, minute number. Most of them, the coaches are just looking for the right fit for the culture and the competitive nature of their program. Cannot stress that enough. That is what is important. Okay, let's see. Hockey is fighting the 5-5. I can tell you why. And I know before I read further, Jason, do you know why NCAA hockey, NCAA 1, 2, and 3 hockey, do you know why they want to fight this 5-5? Because the average freshman for a hockey player is 20 to 21 years old. But let's look deeper behind curtain number 1, which is junior hockey. Junior hockey is so lucrative, and it's a relationship that the college coaches send everybody to their junior hockey, and you're going to pay $10,000 to $20,000 a year for over 2 years, which is $20,000 to maybe even $40,000 of junior hockey, all so that you can gain the physical and skill set development and be ready for the rigors of college athletics. And you come in as a 20, 21-year-old as a freshman, and you graduate as a 24 or 25-year-old, and all for the quality of college hockey. It's already happening in football. It's already happening in basketball, and it's already happening in baseball. We'll send you to the great baseball academies where you can go and become the super duper version of yourself and come in here physically and skill set ready to perform as a college athlete. So who's making money? The junior hockey teams, the baseball and softball academies, and the baseball travel programs, all of which take commission when you're going through the name, image, and likeness portal process. Oh, we'll only take 15%. Everybody else is charging 20 to 30%, but we'll only take 15% of your name, image, and likeness package. That's behind curtain number 1. Curtain number 2, you can come here for 10 to 20, 30, 40,000 a year, and we have the best amenities and the best strength coaches and the best nutritionists. And you're going to pay us for 1 or 2 years. Heck, come here and repeat your sophomore year in high school, and it's only going to cost you 10, 20, 30,000 a year over the course of the next 2 or 3 years. I'm making money behind curtain number 1, curtain number 2, and curtain number 3 is let's get you to repeat and play on our travel program starting at the age of 14. And then once you get to 16 or 17, we'll get you into our academy, and then you'll repeat your 17-year-old year, and you're going to pay us on average $5,000 to $20,000 a year beginning at the age of 14. All in the good interest of development. Now, I will tell you that, there's a lot more to this process, but what I want you to understand is the business of this whole process. Let's get back to the reality. College is a transitional experience in a student athlete's life or a student's life, boy and girl becoming woman and man over the course of 4, now 5 years. And we want to maximize those 4 or 5 years so that we have a cohesive, consistent, competitive environment for our son or daughter to develop and become a young adult, while doing so, enjoying athletics and all that we can derive from said athletics. I think that it is a travesty for us as adults to try to convince athletes, all athletes, that they're going to be part of the name, image, and likeness process, that they're going to get a full scholarship, and that they're going to be playing every single day. Because none of that is true for every single college student athlete. None of that is true for every single college baseball player, college softball player. It's simply not true for the majority. For the minority, yes. The majority, no. Now, how is the transfer portal affecting high school athletes? Okay, we've addressed the 5 and 5. We've addressed that. We've talked about reclassification. I'm going to go back to that. But now, before I go to JUCO, let's talk about the transfer portal. In another week, in fact, a week from tomorrow, a week from yesterday, the portal is going to open in all its glory. And it's almost like the Daytona 500, where we can hear the engines revving and the drivers have both hands clutched on the wheel and their eyes are affixed to the starter's flag, and they are waiting for the green flag to drop. And when that green flag drops, there is chaos. Boom, the feet hit the gas pedal, the brakes are non-existent, and it's full throttle forward. And everybody comes out of the chute, and there are 6,000. I'm just giving you a hypothetical number. I believe it's going to be really close to 6,000 baseball players that will be in that portal collectively in total. And of that 6,000, maybe 1,200 will find a really new home. I mean, a good, exciting new home. Some people are going to accept something that they didn't really hope for, and the rest will never find a home. But the portal is going to basically be the meat on the bone that the college coaches are going to attack. All levels, by the way, NCAA Division III, Division II, and Division I. Division III and Division II are looking for the D1 fallbacks that might be upperclassmen and have finally figured out we're not going to get a lot of playing time, and I want to get between the lines, and so I am going to really begin to look at Division II and Division III. There are going to be some high-level Division I academic athletes. Pick your school of choice, Tulane, Vanderbilt, USC, Notre Dame, UVA, Wake Forest, et cetera, Duke, USC, Stanford. Okay, I'm going to go to Washington and Lee. I'm going to go to Emory. I'm going to go to University of Chicago. I might go to Amherst, Tufts, Bates, Bowdoin. Maybe I try to go to Holy Cross. Maybe I try to go to, a Patriot League school. Those are fallbacks from Division I. Then there are, conversely, the Division IIIs, and I know of several that are going to go from Division III to Division I. They've proven themselves. They have a resume. They have skin in the game. They've gone out. They've accumulated innings. They've accumulated at-bats, and they're going to go from, Division III to Division I. Some from an academic perspective, some from an athletic perspective. The portal is where the vast majority of gray area gets filled in. And then, and only then, let's go to the middle of July. We have the identification Worldwood Bat events in Georgia. We have the PBR Futures event again at the latter half of July, where everything begins to get filled in with the high school athletes. And then, and only then, does recruiting begin to kind of simmer down. The rosters are getting assembled. Wherever there is a potential A, injury from the summer, B, a fast rising athlete that may be a late bloomer, comes out of nowhere, they get invited to a camp in the fall, and they get recruited as a senior in 2027. The portal is where the color between the lines begins to get colored in, and all the coaches begin to color in all of their roster. Now, let's talk about the athletes that enter the portal as frustrated current college freshmen and sophomores. They have no resume because they haven't played. They're frustrated and they feel there is no light at the end of the tunnel. And they say to themselves, I have to hit the portal because I'm not going to get any opportunity here. Guess who they have to deal with? They have to deal with, and here we are, the JUCO athlete who has 2 years of playing time, whether that's as, maybe they're in their third year, but they're a redshirt sophomore at the JUCO level. They're going to have 2 more years, potentially 3, but they have a resume. They have a resume, and they have physicality, and they have skill set development. They've been between the lines, and that resume speaks very loudly. Whereas you, as an athlete that has begun to chase the validation and the bright lights of the Division I or Division II, and I want to go there, I want to go there, I want to go there. And then you go there and you're frustrated. But now you've sat, you've watched. It's been 12, in some cases 18 months since you've been an active participant. And coaches look at, okay, do I take the athlete that has a lot of playing time and experience and innings and they are ready? Or do I go back to the projectability of the guy that hasn't played a lot over 2 years? And why hasn't he played? And so you have to understand the portal, the JUCOs, they're all jockeying based on, did they play? What do they have for experience? What do they have for a resume? What do they have for stats? And then, oh, by the way, we're going to go deal with those projectable athletes at the high school level. You think you're projecting, I'm going to go play in these events this summer and coaches are going to see me and coaches are going to evaluate me. And yes, there is some, there is some truth to that. But remember, you're not being compared to those you're competing against. Those you're competing against are playing college summer baseball. Those you're competing against have already played college baseball, and they're in the weight rooms, and they're resting, replenishing, and recovering. That is the world we have to deal with. And oh, by the way, this year you're dealing with 5 years and 5 years of eligibility over the course of 5 years after high school graduation. Next year, you're going to be dealing with a new CBA that says high school athletes are not eligible for the major league draft. And so therefore, those athletes that used to get plucked out of college by Major League Baseball are now going to be thrown into the college landscape. It's going to create chaos, not only at the NCAA Division I level, the JUCO level. And again, that just creates this big hamster wheel. JUCO, transfer portal, and all of these topics that we're discussing tonight, they just get hammered with more athletes. So we need to really begin to identify, which we're going to talk about real quickly now, the essence of the issue. Let me get to the questions. Jason, thank you. All sports are going to end up adapting to that, Jason. It's just a matter of getting through litigation and NCAA navigation. That's what's going to ultimately happen. Hello from Australia to the land down under. I have graduated year 12. You are a senior and have already reclassed 26 to 27. I'm 6'9" and feel the extra time will help my development. When I tell parents there is an international component to recruiting and they laugh at me, this is validation. And I have talked to so many coaches that talk about the international, and I digress quickly. There is a massive international component to college athletics, particularly college baseball, and I hope everybody is aware of that. Back to your question, Patrick. I am also managing, moving from country to country. How could the change affect those like me that have already turned down offers before any adaptation of an age based eligibility model? I can tell you, Patrick, litigation is going to play in your favor. The NCAA is going to have injunctions that are going to remove the age restriction, and it's going to end up being a high school graduate. You have to be a high school graduate. Now, obviously, they are going to assume the normal standard ages are between 18 and 20 for high school ages, high school graduations. So I think you're going to fall under that designation. And congratulations, by the way, coming from Australia to this country, playing college athletics. Congratulations. That's a wonderful achievement. Hello, coach. My son has played on a homeschool team for his entire high school career in Dallas, Texas. We reclassified him to graduate in 2027. The exposure is limited. What do you suggest we do? There is about to become a new world of youth baseball that is going to include college baseball. And that is going to fit for your son, and is going to be starting this fall in 2026 and beginning next year. We have to create an environment where college athletes and high school athletes are competing with and against each other. And if you think about travel baseball and an athlete that plays for a travel organization from the age of 14 through 17 and 18, it's not out of the realm of possibility that they're going to want to play for their travel organization in this new college environment. And trust me when I tell you, it's coming sooner, much sooner, and it's going to be very exciting. But you want to get your athletes competing against older athletes, which is what I'm going to finish up with tonight, which everybody wants to shoot arrows into my back and tell me that it's never going to happen. And they want to tell me how their student athletes are going to get hurt. First of all, to those parents that continuously, and I get it, we can disagree, we can be civil, and we can have a dialogue. It's okay. I get that you feel that there can be possible, your student athlete could be hurt by older, bigger, stronger athletes. Are you really trying to get to the college level? If you're concerned that your 16-year-old is going to be hurt by a 19-year-old, you really should seek out maybe flag football or maybe some other sport that may be safer. But for you as a parent to respond to a topic by saying your 16-year-old has no business being on a field with a 19-year-old, you're not preparing for college athletics. I'm just going to say that, and that's as nicely as I can say that. And as in the words of what I will say to you as, I can't say it. I don't want to say, if I can't say anything nice, I'm not going to say it all. But Forrest Gump used to say, and that's all I have to say about that. Trevor, thank you for being from Mississippi. Now, there are some parents that have taken and heeded, and their 13-year-old, their 12 and 13-year-olds are competing with 14 and 15-year-olds. And here's a newsflash. They're having fun and enjoying it. Oh, my goodness. They're not getting hurt. It's almost like the Wizard of Oz. You know, the Tin Man didn't have a heart. The lion didn't have any courage. And all these parents that think the bats are too big, the boys are too strong. We don't give our athletes enough credit. Sometimes 13-year-olds have fun playing with and against 14 and 15-year-olds. And I have a newsflash for you. It's been going on for decades. Way back in the 50s and 60s and 70s when dinosaurs roamed the earth. Oh, my. What I would like to do is the impact on high school athletes and parents. I would like to talk to you candidly, and I would like to talk to you, and I want you to understand this is coming from my heart, and I mean this sincerely. When I talk to college coaches, they all say the same thing. Well, I don't really ask how old athletes are. I ask how prepared athletes are. So let's think about that on a deeper level. Are we really preparing our athletes for college athletics? College athletics are gosh darn hard, and they're tough, and they are a stressful environment. We cannot control the narrative. We cannot control the environment. We must understand that when you're playing college athletics, and I don't care what level, I had a young man say to me, well, I got contacted by Northern Essex, and they're a JUCO school, and they're a Division III JUCO, and they're located in Haverhill, Mass, and I live in New Jersey. Do you know that Northern Essex came in fourth in the country in NJCAA Division III JUCO? Fourth in the country. They're really good. And they get a lot of athletes that go on to play Division I, and they get a lot of athletes that get drafted. And I don't care if we're talking about Northern Essex and NJCAA or we're talking about Vanderbilt. College athletics and everywhere in between and all around the country, from California to Maine, it's hard. It's tough. And oh, by the way, it's ultra competitive. And we either wake up to the fact that you have to be prepared to compete against the best of the best of the best of the best. Doesn't matter you're 6A in California. Doesn't matter you're 5A in Texas. Doesn't matter you played in Georgia and Florida. I know athletes that play in Montana and Wyoming and New Mexico and Massachusetts and Rhode Island, in Vermont. Oh, by the way, one of the best pitchers in New England and probably will be drafted is in Vermont. And oh, by the way, one of the best pitchers in the country that's going to be a top 40 pick in the MLB draft, he played high school basketball. So for all you gurus that want to preach and tell families, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. Oh, my God, don't risk it. You got to play baseball 12 months a year. You got to play baseball 12 months a year. You're not going to be ready. He led his team to a state championship in basketball. And here's the secret. He had fun. So parents, here's a novel concept. Have a plan for your student athlete. Avoid comparison. Don't compare your athlete to other high school athletes in and around your area. Compare your athlete to somebody that might be playing in college right now. And is your athlete on the projectable path? And can they compete with those athletes when the time comes? Any adult that tells you as a parent that you're going to get your athlete hurt by allowing them to play up with and above and with older, stronger, faster, better athletes, any adult that tells you that you need to reclass because that's the only way that you'll be prepared. And we're not talking about a collective academic and athletic combined decision. And we're just talking about athletics. Those are the facts, Jack. And the sooner that you come to that rational decision, the better we will be. So, if I've got your attention, let's wrap up with the following. At some point, you need an evaluation of who your athlete is physically, and then athletically, and then skill set. Let's talk about them. Who are they athletically? What are their metrics? Jumping, foot speed, explosive movements, broad jump, things that you don't think of as parents that really go into like a analytical environment at the collegiate level that kind of says, okay, this athlete is going to be explosive, fast twitched, those types of things. Or are they going to be explosive and powerful and big and strong? You have to know who your athlete is before you try and decide who they are going to be. Again, who is your child now versus who your child is capable of becoming? Now, let's talk about, after you get that, what are you going to do with that information? From a nutrition perspective, from a mental mindset development perspective, from a skill set development perspective, from a strength perspective. You have to begin to merge those two. And then you need to take action steps. The action steps cannot be strictly derived in 30 and 60-minute blocks. They cannot be strictly from an organized, here's my instructor, here's my coach, here's my team, this is my practice schedule, this is my game schedule. That is a part, that is not a whole. And you need to understand that skill set development, physical and mental growth development is a individual accountability thing for your child. And you have to be a part of that. You have to nurture that. You have to water that. You have to provide sun. And you have to prepare for the rainy days, the heavy, strong winds. It's an absolute must, because the world of college is not about cake, candy, lollipops, and what I used to call friendly fribbles. And if you're not from New England and you don't know friendlies, you don't know what a fribble is. You must understand that college athletics, stressful, it's really brutally tough. It's filled with black and white. It's filled with struggle. It's filled with adversity. It's really filled with physical pain, mental challenges, and you have to begin to prepare for that. And if you have that preparation and that plan, and you execute and you take those executing steps, and then you mix in the all-powerful, all-knowing truth, at some point you need to hear the truth. It might be painful, but when do you want to hear it? Do you want to wait and hear it as a college freshman at the end of the freshman year, and you hear it's not going to work out here, and this is an exit meeting, and there's no room for you here next year? I'll help you in any way I can. Or do you want to get that 2 or 3 years prior, before you get to college, and really begin to understand where is the right fit for my student athlete? Where is that fit? Because the portal, the JUCO, the 5-and-5, and then the major league draft that's coming, and then no high school athletes, it all gets put into this big cauldron, and it's all simmering right now. And it's about to go boom on June 1st, this year and next year, when the CBA is announced in, let's say, March or April of 2027. And instead of the murmurs of they're going to not have 20 rounds, they're only going to have 10 rounds, there's not going to be any high school athletes. Do you know that the Major League Draft in each of the last 3 years has been 80 to 85%, 85% college, 80% Division I draft picks, 15% high school athletes, 600 to 700 drafted free agent signings? So let's take those numbers and start doing some math. And we look at 130 to 150 high school athletes currently going into pro ball, being drafted, the vast majority of which sign, now coming into college. Now there's fewer spaces, and the portal now is filled, because now I have 5 years worth of classes, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, graduate, in a 34 and 36 man roster. So I have 5 classes being spread into 34 roster spots, 36 roster spots. We need to have a hard dialogue onto the realities. It's not the coach's fault. They can only play by the rules. Guess what? The coaches don't make the rules. They have to abide by the rules. They don't make them. The NCAA. Now, do I believe there's going to be a reorganization, a reshuffle? I really think there will be, but that's a story for another day. Let's go back to the questions. Let's see here. Will 2027 draft no, 2027 we'll have, for our Michigan friends in Michigan, Central Michigan, the 2027 will have high school draft. 2028 will be probably the year we do not see high school as part of the draft. So 2027 will be I believe, a high school year. Our great friends in Arizona, Gene, thank you. We also took your advice on playing up. My 16-year-old is playing in Arizona Collegiate Summer Woodbat League next month. I will let you know how it goes. Thank you. Please keep me up to speed. And any parent, I want to say this before I read the last questions, because I do want to be cognizant. We're running up on 60 minutes, not the TV show, but tonight's segment. If you are a parent and you feel that playing up is going to cause pain, stress, or injuries to your student athlete, please email me, walter@coachbeede.com. Email me. I will send you parents that are living it, starting as young as 12 and all the way up and through high school. And I will connect you from parent to parent. So it's not my interpretation. I'll connect you parent to parent, and they can tell you what's actually happening, how they're actually enjoying it, or they're actually reveling in this new world of, the unknown. My son, 2026, was going to take a gap year to get bigger, faster, stronger. But with the 5 and 5 coming, he decided to accept a JUCO offer. Fantastic. That's how the process is going to work, because now you can go to JUCO, and if you get between the lines, you're going to get developed. And oh, by the way, when you graduate that JUCO, you're going to have 3 years, hopefully 3 years of eligibility at the 4-year level, whether that's NAIA or NCAA. Congratulations. That's going to be the new way that this whole process works. At the end of the day, here's the message. All levels of college athletics, JUCO, NAIA, NCAA, are tremendously beneficial. If a college coach is reaching out to your student athlete, don't worry about the level. Worry about, is it a good fit for my student athlete, academically, socially, culturally, geographically, and obviously athletically. And if your student athlete is successful at that school and feels, I think I can do this at a higher level, you can say that to your current college coach and saying, I would be remiss if I didn't take my last 2 years at JUCO and try to go Division I or higher level, or I would be remiss if I go to an NCAA Division III school or an NAIA Division I or II school and try to play at a higher level NCAA, because my dream is to play professionally. No coach is going to deny you. Are they going to be upset? Yes. Are they going to be understanding? Yes. But that is the world we live in. So if a college coach picks up a phone and has interest in your student athlete, every level of college athletics is a win. You have to be really good in high school, and I mean really good, for a college coach to reach out and want to offer and extend an opportunity for your student athlete to be a member of their program. It's a very, very big deal. And I want you to understand that. The resume. I've had so many athletes say, I think I'm better. That means you should be able to go to a school that you consider to be a lower level, not beneath you, but you think it's a lower level. You should be able to go there, be successful, and come out of there with a resume that says, told you I could. Okay, you win. Okay, I have a resume. Now I can go into the portal. That's what this whole thing has been created for. But you have to execute. College athletics is about a whole bunch of things, but here are 3 of them. Those that think they can and those that can. Those that can execute and those that cannot. Those that think they will and those that didn't. You have to be able to execute. Execution is the name of the game. And next to that is this word that begins with a C, compete. You have to compete. Oh, let's see. Okay, our 13-year-old goal is college baseball, not scholarship, just Division I to Division III. Scholarships, Division III would be nice, but not required. Here's the other thing I want you to understand. Division three, and I was a Division three head coach, and I was at a very low level Division three program, and I had 6 boys that went on to play professionally, and I got a lot of boys merit money, grant money, non-repayable loans, which are scholarships. They're all the same thing. Academic money, academic money. That's why grades matter. Academic money. Sometimes people say test scores are optional. Yeah, but test scores can get you money. There's a method to this whole madness, but don't put the goggles on and drink the Kool-Aid and just think about the sport. Think about the balance. Now, before we go, I just want to hit on these final kind of topics and what I want to actionable advice for you great folks. You need to understand we all think about skill set development. We don't think enough about mental health and academic development. It's a big deal. Make sure your student athlete is getting all three: physical, academic, and mental health development. Surround them with mentors in all three facets. Recruiting, for the love of goodness, let's not worry about the word recruiting or the action of recruiting until such time that your athlete is ready to be recruited. Do not fall for the trap of the 4 letter that begins with the letter N as in Nancy, that is now tied with the P as in Paul, and ends with the great world of youth baseball. Do not worry about recruiting. Do not worry about video. Do not worry about recruiting until your athlete is recruitable. And as Forrest says, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Next, don't worry about who's following who's following, what coach is following, what coaches, you know what coaches do now with social media? Social media is monitored to view and get a sense of progression. So they're going to see your athlete when they're younger. They're going to see them evolve. What they're looking for is physical evolvement, skill set evolvement, progression. Don't worry about where you start. You run a 7.2. Okay, you're an 8th grader, a 9th grader. That's not where you're going to end up. You might run a 6.7 when you're a senior. Are you working at it? Are you showing progression? Please, for the love of goodness, grades matter. You don't need to get a 4.3 and a 4.5. You need to get good grades, the best that you're capable of getting. Does that mean you have to stress over grades and you have to study for 20 hours a day and you have to rack your brain to get a 1400 SAT? No. It means have a routine, have a daily routine. It's that simple. And this is where I want to end tonight. You're the parent of a underclassman that has not played varsity athletics and you're thinking of transferring high schools. Please, high school is a once in a lifetime event. Is your student athlete happy? Are they surrounded in their heart by friends and great faculty, great mentors, great administrators? I've had athletes that didn't play, didn't start in high school. You don't believe me? Go to YouTube, look up Mason Coppens, Koppens, Mason Coppens. Played 4 years of Division I baseball, 2 years in Cape Cod, was a Cape Cod League All-Star in year 2, did not start varsity baseball all 4 years at an all-boys school, and was a Division I starter for 4 years on a team that went to the NCAA regionals and has become a perennial NCAA regional team, that is the Northeastern Huskies. Got a great degree and is living a great life and had fun in college. Don't worry about where your athlete is today. Support your athletes. Provide your athletes with the nurturing and the sun that they need. We need to be, as parents, the sun. Some days we're blocked out by clouds, storms. But guess what? Every single day there are clouds and storms. The sun lurks. And we, as parents, can be the sun. And you need to look at us and provide a resource for our children as adults. We cannot try to orchestrate. We cannot try to pull the strings. We have to let them figure it out. Competition is healthy. They will fight their way through their processes. They will fight their way through their storms. Each and every week, I get asked the same question, and I want to close tonight by saying, one, thank you so much. If you've spent the hour with me, hour and 6 minutes with me, thank you. I'm long. I get it. I don't have a script, so I'm often all over the map. Could you do a couple things? Interact with the video. Please, 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 please. My YouTube channel has gone downhill as far as with regard to the algorithm. Why? Because of videos like these, they're too long. But I do get feedback from parents that tell me they enjoy the content. So if you can help me out by engaging with the video, telling me where you're from, asking me a question, telling me I'm full of hot air, anything that helps grow the algorithm. Can you share the channel? Can you help grow from a subscriber basis? It's free. All you have to do is just hit subscribe. Lastly, for 38 years, many of which a college coach and I was a parent living the world you're living in. What that taught me was perspective. Looking back, what mistakes did I make and how can I help you as parents avoid those mistakes? One of the things that I want you to know as parents is if you take my mission statement, is I don't own it. I didn't trademark it. Trade athletic ability for academic excellence. Whatever academic excellence means to you as a family, meaning it doesn't mean grades. It means the experience within the world of academics, high school, college, dances, proms, graduations, athletic events. You know, I don't know if they have these anymore, pep rallies. That shows I'm old. But my point is the experience of interaction in hallways, in the cafeteria, during study hall, at lunch, booster clubs, all that stuff that goes with experiences of school, high school and college, friendships, relationships, and grades. Athletics is just a part of it. Let's plan together accordingly. I help a lot of people. I don't charge them money. I'm not in this. I'm 63 years old. But I get a big kick out of people who want to tell so-and-so knows. Coach Blow and Blow knows. I know. It's not how it works. We don't need another hitting guru. We don't need a pitching guru. Trust me, if all the gurus were as good as they thought they were, major league teams and college programs would eat them up and take them and cannibalize and monopolize them and make them under their umbrella. But they're not. There is no magic potion. There is no magic protein. There is no magic supplement. There is no magic gidget or gadget. And there is definitely no magic gurus. What there is life experience. What there is a track record. And I can put my track record, and I have on video going back 4 or 5 years ago. I've written books. They've all come to fruition. And I have lots of families all across North America and even Australia and Japan now, where I go back to boys now at 35, 40 years old. So I'll take my 38 years. Have I made mistakes? You betcha. Did I make mistakes as a parent? You better believe it. Was there heartache? Oh, I still have it to this day. It's unavoidable. The new rules are not there to penalize. The new rules need us not to conform, but to prepare. Prepare. The world of college is a big, big place. It is ultra competitive. It is where the big boys and girls participate. And guess what? They don't care where your student athlete is ranked. They don't care how good they were in the 6A conference of the big states all around the great country of United States. They don't care about the PG. They don't care about the PBR. They don't care about the NCSA. They're competing based on their skill set, their development, their preparation. I suggest you as parents begin that same process. If I can help you in any capacity, Walter@CoachBeede.com. We'll engage in a dialogue. We'll absolutely agree to disagree. And there are more pathways. And I tell parents this all the time. Google, Waze, all the GPS, all they're meant to do is help you avoid traffic, roadblocks, construction, trouble ahead, construction ahead, police ahead. Avoid, avoid. That's what I do for people like you. So if you like this content, please give us a thumbs up. I say thank you for listening to my hot air. And many people tell me I'm full of hot air, and you are correct. And I want to say thank you to Trevor. I want to say thank you to Gene. I want to say thank you to Tara. And I want to say thank you to Patrick and Jason and everyone, and the Gray Viper. And I want to say thank you to Tommy. Tommy, thank you. And all of you that are watching, please, on the way out, give us a thumbs up. Go over to YouTube. Please, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on X, go to YouTube. Subscribe and hit the thumbs up. Next week, we are going to talk more about the youth levels, and I will have a special episode with a college coach that is currently participating in this week's regionals, and we are going to talk about the transfer portal and the JUCO grads. So join me next week on Tuesday for our live discussion. And this week, we are talking to Stetson recruiting coordinator, Greg Lovelady. I really appreciate Greg taking the time. He's going to join me on Thursday. Thank you very much. And to all, a good night and a good week in baseball.